let's take a look at our top selections for Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Race number 13 at the Fairgrounds on Saturday. Very early Kentucky Derby prep and the first step on the Louisiana road to the Kentucky Derby. It's the Grade 3 Lecomte. Let's throw up the field. We're going a mile and a 16th for a $200,000 purse, and it is a full field. Now, the 3 Beep Beep we're expecting to scratch in favor of another race, an allowance race earlier on the card. The same could be said for Manor House. That hasn't been decided yet. And the horse on the outside, Dynamite, is sort of 50-50 to start in this race. So things might change, Mike, especially from a pace standpoint. It's an intriguing field. Midnight Bourbon drops out of the Champagne.
Yeah, we'll see how the pace shakes out to be, because I think it'll be important, and we'll just see if those horses that you mentioned stay in. Dan, personally, I can sort of understand, why their connections might be a little reluctant to run them in this race, but I actually hope that both Beep Beep and Manor House stay in this race, because I think they have some real potential, and I feel like this is the kind of race maybe that they might want to find out what they have.
And they have speed. We'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector, and I'd like to urge everybody to visit timeformus.com after scratches are made official on Saturday morning, because this pace projector will automatically update for scratches. So if Manor House and Beep Beep are gone, that red bar might be gone, and Midnight Bourbon might be gone on the lead.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if those two horses elect not to run in this race, the pace is going to change pretty dramatically.
Let's talk a little bit about Midnight Bourbon. I have to admit, I'm a very big fan of this horse. I love the way he won his maiden at Ellis Park. It was a race where he broke sharp and they rated him back off the rail to track the leader, and he just took over onto the most confident ride in the world, and he won easily. And then in the Iroquois, he just had a wider than wide trip, made this big mid-race move, and understandably flattened out. I thought he'd run a little bit better in the Champagne, but I guess Jackie's Warrior is just way too good.
Yeah, he was never going to be able to go with that horse. Jackie's Warriors, he was a really, really good 2-year-old. So I'm not going to worry about the Champagne for this horse. I agree with you. I thought his maiden win was really impressive. I liked his Iroquois just fine. I thought he ran really well in that race. To me, he's way the horse to beat in here.
And he's bred to go 2 turns. He just looks like a big leggy horse that'll appreciate extra distance. And talk about pedigree. Look at his siblings. Gervin, who won the Haskell, and 2 Grade 3 winners, Pirate's Punch and Cocked and Loaded. The 2 is Arabian Prince, going out for West Point Thoroughbreds. 3rd last time out in the Kentucky Jockey Club. I thought that was a slight move forward for this horse, Mike. I think this horse is still learning the game. I think he has some potential. I think he does need to take a little bit of a step forward, but give him some pace, and he could come with a nice run.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. He's taking small steps forward with every race so far. And listen, he's just going to have to run better than he did last time. I mean, there's nothing wrong with finishing 3rd in a Grade 2 and just your 3rd career start, but he had an awful lot go his way in the Kentucky Jockey Club last time. I mean, that pace was very competitive in front of him. The winner came from last to win that race. Arabian Prince actually had the jump on the winner. He had a big seam open up for him in the stretch, and he just really didn't find enough to really make himself a late threat in that race. He could certainly improve here, Dan, but I think he's going to have to.
We're expecting Beep Beep, the Mary Lou Whitney homebred, to scratch. So let's move on to the 4 Proxy. Talk about pedigrees. He's by Tappet out of the Grade 1 stakes winner Panty Raid. He's a half to Michelin, who's a very good turf horse, a multiple stakes winner. This horse has done very well in his 2 starts at the Fairgrounds. They've put him on the lead. He's taken them all the way. I'm not sure that trip is available to him here, but he sure ran well in his debut from off the pace.
He sure did. He did save a lot of ground in that race after breaking a little slowly, but he was really running at the end of that race. He's improved with both of his starts since then. And yes, listen, he's been showing speed. If those 2 horses that we talked about earlier come out of this race, that's going to help his chances. I like all of this horse's races. I think he's a real player in here.
I think the 5 Regular Guy has a lot of price potential in this race. He's a son of Bernardini. He's got a great pedigree. He's a half to Carpe Diem, a multiple Grade 1 winner. He's a half to JB's Thunder, a Grade 1 stakes winner. He's a half to a Grade 2 placed runner, Semper Fortis, and he's a half to Farrell, who was a multiple Grade 2 stakes winner. So he's got all the pedigree in the world. He's coming off of a win last time out. And I think if the 3 Beep Beep and the 9 Manor House scratch, this horse is going to the front.
Yeah, that's probably true, Dan. That's a good point. So definitely look at scratches before you decide what to do with this horse. He's improved in his last 2, I guess. I got to be honest, I don't really like any of his races. They started him out, I guess pretty early at Saratoga, so you don't have to be too hard on him for those races. But to me, he didn't do any running either time upstate in New York. And then, when he came back to go with the mile at Churchill in November, I don't know. I didn't really feel like he ran that great that day. Him and Santa Cruzr were right up there on the lead together. This horse never was able to get by to the lead, and I didn't really feel like he finished all that well either.
Brett Calhoun sends out Game Day Play. Let's watch his win in the Clever Trevor. Last time out at Remington Park, going 7/8 of a mile. He's going to defeat Red and Wild, who's also in this race, by a head. Red and Wild did a lot of the work up front, Mike. Game Day Play came and got him.
Yeah, true. That made me sort of prefer Red and Wild this time. Dan, Red and Wild, as you mentioned, was wide all the way, always up there battling. That's him in the red silks there, the 6. And you'll see Game Day Play. Now, he was wide in his own right, but he was able to sit off it a little bit. And I think the last run was the best run there.
About a 3-month layoff for Game Day Play. It'll be interesting to see how he handles that layoff, coupled with the first time around 2 turns. Santa Cruzr is up next. Gate to wire, going a 1-turn mile. He was solid that day. I thought he set a legitimate pace, and he was able to hold off a regular guy. Keith DeZormo, to me, does a really good job with these kind of horses, taking his time with them. I think this horse will stretch out. I think he's adaptable to a pace standpoint. And he didn't do anything wrong from a buyer standpoint in his first 3 starts, improving with each and every outing.
That's very true. He was in against Essential Quality, obviously, in his debut. And, he ran fine that day. I didn't love his second start because I'm not a big fan of the horse that beat him and Swill, but Swill did get loose on the lead that day. So maybe this horse ran better than I'm giving him credit for. He's out of the same race as regular guy last time. I don't really want to knock either one of them. It's just not a race that I like. They went up to the lead together. They sat up on the pace together. They ran 1-2 around the track when Cool Rags, who came, he looked like he had all the momentum. The horse that finished 3rd ran at them. And it just felt like that horse stopped finding at the end and let Santa Cruzr hold on.
We saw Red and Wild finish 2nd in the Clever Trevor. He rebounded out of that race to pass the 2-turn test, went in for a $75,000 tag. And last time out, he ran into a very promising 2-year-old. It's kind of off the radar in Senor Buscador in the Springboard Mile. My one concern is that race was just a closer's race. And I thought Red and Wild kind of clunked up for 3rd.
Right. I'm not sure how good either of these Remington shippers are. Again, if I had to just take one, I would take Red and Wild over Game Day Play. But I feel like they both have a lot to prove in a race like this.
Manor House is an uncertain starter, but if he starts, you got to respect him off what he did in his career debut. 1-turn mile at Laurel, not easy to win, going a 1-turn mile with that long second wire finish. Didn't bother him at all. They turn into the stretch. Manor House has been controlling this race from the start. He's 6 clear at the 8th pole, and we see him finish off this race to win by 12 1/4. Very impressive performance for Manor House.
I mean, he was really impressive winning this race, and the figure wasn't too bad either. And the thing that I liked most about it, Dan, is he didn't really break that sharply from the gate either, but he just had real easy speed getting up there to the front, and he just kept going. I was pretty taken by his debut.
Very nice performance for Manor House. We'll see how he handles the 2 turns if he goes in this race. Mandaloon, though, could be one of the horses to beat. This is a horse that should really appreciate the distance. His first 2 starts, I love the way he finished off both of those sprint races. He beat 2 next out winners in his last start, going 7/8. And then you look at the pedigree. The Into Mischiefs can do anything. This dam was a Group 2 winner on turf at Ireland, but she could go 1.25 miles.
Yeah, the distance is supposed to be fine for him. You never know until they try it. So, we'll see. It's his first start around 2 turns, and he's going to have to do it from an outside post. But I'm with you. I really, really like both of his starts. Even his first time out, Dan, where he didn't really have that much speed. He got filtered back out to the back of that field. He was in a lot of traffic through much of that race before he forced his way clear. I mean, this horse really ran first time out, and he took a big step forward last time, I thought.
Dynamite completes the field. He's won his last 2 starts. Again, a questionable starter in this race for Keith DeZormo. Would have to deal with a tough outside post position. He'll show speed if he does run.
He probably will, because I don't think they have that many choices from the outside post. He's got to get a lot faster, though.
Top pick time for the Grade 3 Lecomte. First step on the road to the Louisiana Derby. You're going with Mandaloon. I'm going with Midnight Bourbon. 10-1 for you, 110 for me. I just think they're the top 2 contenders in the race.
I mean, I look at it the exact same way. They're really the only 2 horses I was interested in. I'm not against Midnight Bourbon at all. Like you, I think that horse is pretty good. But I like Mandaloon's 2 races, and he might be the second choice. That's why I put him on top.
10-1-4-3 for me, 110-8-4. 10-1-4-3 for Mike, 110-8-4 for me. In the Grade 3 Lecomte, it's the feature race on a really nice card at the fairgrounds on Saturday. Best of luck.